joking. All right, y'all. Let's get into some entertainment. Favorite Toni Braxton song. Champ, I'm gonna let you go first.
Man, a lot of them, man. Grew up to the great Toni Braxton, man. That was hey, had Toni Braxton posters on my wall when I was a child. So hey, love Toni Braxton. Loved her since I was a child, man. Shout out to the great Toni Braxton. Not gonna go with the normal, but Love Should Have Brought You Home last night. For the Boomerang soundtrack, that was good. I mean, that was good. I Get So High When I'm Around You. I mean, and the video was epic, by the way. But
it was epic.
That video was epic, by the way. That was a very, very epic video. To see her in the all white, cat suit on, that was something to behold, especially at my age back then. So that was good. Unbreak My Heart, obviously. I know everybody's gonna say that. So Unbreak My Heart, that was the hit.
She didn't like that song at first.
That was what I was just about to bring up, number one. And yeah, she didn't like the song, but they convinced her in order to do that. And I don't think people understand this. At the beginning of her career, I don't think people understood that she was being compared to Anita Baker at the beginning of her career. And people, because for to be women, they both had kind of deep voices when it came to them hitting their notes. So they used to call Toni Braxton and Anita Baker wannabe at a certain point. And that used to kind of, and I know, when she was on the set of Making Me High, that was one of the things that she brought up. And that was one of the things that she had to overcome in her career. So not only that, a lot of other things, which we won't name in the show, but yeah, that was one of the things, which I like Anita Baker as well. But, just being real, that was one of the things that she had to overcome in her career as far as being compared to the great Anita Baker. And I think that was what helped her become great. But Making Me High, Unbreak My Heart, and Love Should Have Brought You Home last night. Those are three epic songs, man. I love them, man.
BRF.
Wow, man, I love Toni. For me, Toni Braxton is one of my favorite female R&B artists of all time. I've always loved Toni Braxton. She has one of the most underrated voices. I mean, I always love Toni Braxton's voice. Yeah, like I know it was deep. It was on the deeper end, but I loved it because of how she was still able to carry her notes and how she able to just, she just carried every song she did. And I gotta, Lord, I mean, another sad love song was a good one. Breathe Again was awesome. Was a great song. In fact, yeah, I mean, come on, Unbreak My Heart is like it's always the universal one because that's like the big mainstream like
Shout
the one that really blew
and Warren.
Like that's the one that really blew it. Yeah, exactly. Definitely shout out to her. Definitely shout out to her because that's a classic. But honestly though, my favorite Toni Braxton song is Just Be a Man About It. That was a really good song. And shout out to Dr. Dre for the voice acting in that song. Shout out to Dre. Yeah, for me, my favorite is Just Be a Man About It.
Brandon?
When it comes to like R&B like singers, Toni Braxton really don't be like getting enough credit than what she deserves. She don't. Like, I mean, I hear a lot of Leahs, Eves, all of them. They don't really talk about Toni Braxton like that. But if I have to think of one, it gotta be, to me, it's Unbreak My Heart. that hit different. So yeah.
All right, Kieran.
So, I don't know a lot about Toni Braxton because I just haven't heard a lot about her. But there's one song that I really like. It's "Snowflakes of Love." I thought that was a good song. So, like I said, like I'm not going to sit up here and say like, "Oh my God, I love Toni Braxton," but I've heard a couple of her songs. So that was one of the songs I
Yeah.
liked.
Ooh, I get so hot. You
Yeah.
making me hot. I love that track.
Yeah.
Because that show, the reason why I love that song is because it showed a more sexier side of Tony.
Yeah.
And Toni Braxton, there was a picture, I think it was in the VMAs at one point with her and Dennis Rodman. I think it was like 95, 96 at one
Yeah.
point.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, Toni Braxton, man, very, very underrated singer. I also love the other track that she did. He wasn't man enough. Remember that track,
Yes.
champ?
That's a good
Yeah, I
one.
remember that. That was cool. I liked it, that one. You know,
Yeah.
that was good. That whole album was good. I mean,
Oh yeah, it was. And
yeah,
especially what Tony was going through a lot during
yeah,
the late 90s because remember she had to file for bankruptcy.
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of them record labels back then, it was pretty bad.
It was pretty bad, but
Under the
Tony
same record,
man, go
yeah,
go
she
ahead,
was on.
BRF.
She was under the
Huh?
same
Oh
record
no, I
label
wasn't
as
saying
TLC.
anything.
Oh,
Remember, she was under the same record label as TLC. So ironically, they
yes.
both filed for bankruptcy. That was kind
She
of crazy.
worked for didn't she work with Babyface and LA Reid?
Yeah, both of them were part of LaFace Records. Yeah.
Yeah, they was
Yeah.
a face record.
Yeah, both of them was part of LaFace Records, one of the powerhouses back then. Ironically, they both had two of the greatest,
for
one of the
bankruptcy.
greatest groups of all time, and one of the greatest singers of all time on that label collectively. After selling sellout albums and sellout concerts during that time, had to file for bankruptcy. That just goes to show you how corrupt some of these record labels are at this point. Because good God.
Mhm. But yeah, those two songs from Toni Braxton.